Yes. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. This is LuvBay, Afrobeat Music Talk Radio, the programmer. It's Highway 6 to Africa. Yes. We are going to be having a very wonderful discussion today. Folks, we have become accustomed to the fact that every time that a couple of artists meet, we don't say anything. All that we know is that we are into it. We are doing our, done their best to impress people and then to do whatever we want to do to, to look at what is ahead of us. But folks, do we think deeper? Yes, I don't think we do. But this afternoon, we are going to be having a conversation on the future of music, our opinions. Well, folks, if you would like to join in on the conversation, you may reach us at 437-778-3299, 437-778-3299. Hi, Ron, how you doing?
Hey, TyB, I'm doing fine. It's on the west coast here of Canada, where I live. It's pouring rain today, absolutely pouring. So a little bit different, but starting to feel like fall. So I guess either today or tomorrow or someday is the first official day of fall. So that's that's so you take the weather with what it was. Yesterday was absolutely beautiful, and today is pouring rain. So hey, nobody really cares too much. That's the way it goes. But I know in our area of the world, we certainly need the rain. So it's nice to see the rain. It's nice to have it every once in a while to make sure that everything is sort of hopefully gets some balance. But yeah, so long explanation to a short question.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what the weather is doing. It's beautiful. It has been so great in Toronto. Like I always say that if it's good, we complain. If it's bad, we complain. So I don't know where we fit in here. The weather has been very great in Toronto. Beautiful. Like today, the sun is smiling on us. Mm-hmm. I hope it continues throughout the year, but I don't think so. But nevertheless, let's look at certain things like we are almost getting to the end of September. Ron.
Mm-hmm.
Very soon we'll be saying Merry Christmas. Very soon we'll be saying Merry Christmas
and happy birthday to you.
Right. The weather, the year has run so fast, like Usain Bolt, and I don't know how and where it went. Your reflections on that?
The year. I don't know. I don't even think any of it is over. I know that coming up shortly, I'm going to be in your area, the Toronto area.
Yes.
About I don't know, 3 weeks from now or so, I'm going to be that area. Going to Niagara Falls and Ottawa and Quebec. No, not Quebec City. Been there. Montreal and then we're flying back out of Pearson or YYZ, as it's known. So going to be in that area. But overall, I mean, I have no complaints. Nobody listened if I did. In terms of the music industry, that's going to be a different one because I know we're going to be talking about that today. A different chat. Not everything's going perfect in the music industry. Not everything's going bad. So it'll be interesting to see what we come up with. And it'd be interesting to hear, as TyB said, questions from you would be great. So so something else to discuss with someone else to discuss questions with other than what we come up with.
Yeah. Any part of it that comes to mind? You can set the ball rolling.
In terms of music, I say one thing that's I've had an eye opener about over the last, I'd say the last year is AI in music. We've talked about this a fair amount, but that's the one that I see coming up time and time again as to where that is going to be, or what role it's going to be taking in the music industry, and whether it's going to be taking the money out of people's pockets, artists' pockets, say, because I don't know where AI is going to take us. That's the one that's been brought up the most. that I see. So and hear about, and we've talked about. So it'd be interesting to see what others have to say and where their thoughts are on that, and your thoughts too, TyB. We've talked about this a fair amount, but that's the one thing in the music industry that has me a little concerned right now. I would say, just because I don't know where it's going to fit. In terms of whether it's certainly not going to be, I don't think, too beneficial to artists. And I'm really concerned about whether, I should say, whether you really even have to be a musician to produce music. Usually that's been the case. It's like carpenters build houses, musicians write music, but I don't even know if that's the case anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, like with my opening statement out there, it seems for artists, a lot of artists are oblivious to the fact that the industry is changing, and then a lot of people are still living in the past, thinking, oh, you know what, I've written something and I just want to go to the studio to do stuff. This AI menace is quite real, and it's changing a lot of things. And like I'm saying, we haven't discussed this, or artists are not discussing this, that something that is coming right at you. We are not I haven't, honestly speaking, I haven't come across any major symposium or any major workshop or any major conference by artists or from the industry leaders discussing this. I haven't come up with that. It's like I'm saying, a lot of people are feeling comfortable right now, especially those in the upper echelon, because if it collapses today, they've already made it. But
fair enough.
To the up and coming artists out there, what is in there for us? What should we expect? Because right now, if you come to look at it, AI tools are now co-producing, co-writing, mastering tracks, and even generating melodies. You see, right there, they co-writing, they are, mastering tracks. I was talking to an artist friend of mine a couple of days ago. He said, you know what, TyB, I was just sitting down and I said, okay, let me write, let me freestyle. Let me freestyle and see what I will come up with. Says I went on AI, give me these melodies, give me these tracks, give me that. But prior to that, he had asked his producer to come up with something. They were working on something. It's on the same line of what he was attempting to do. And Ron, he said, okay, the producer said, you know what, give me about a week. So, a week. He just went down to his laptop. Bingo! Started writing stuff. And all of a sudden, he came up with some melodies. And he nailed it. And it was one of his best tracks, freestyling. So this is what I'm talking about. Now, if he was to be paying the producer is out of $1, right? So this AI menace has got to be taken very seriously by artists, and like how we've been talking about this for close to about a year, but it seems it's falling on deaf ears, and I've not had anybody coming to talk to us about it. Because anytime some of our guests come on the show and we ask them about AI, they always tiptoe around it. They don't take it so seriously. And I don't know whether very soon we'll be having conversations with robots. Because they are the ones going to be writing songs, it's quite serious. Your reflection on that, please.
Yeah, I agree. We don't get artists talking about it a lot, maybe because they haven't investigated a lot. What I worry about is just the simple things. Just do something simple. Go into ChatGPT and say, write me the lyrics to write me a song. I'd like the lyrics of them to reflect my recent heartbreak that I've had, and I'd like it to also have 2 verses, 3 choruses, a bridge as well, because I want to include a bridge and a chorus out. So write that to me, please. And then you've got it in like 30 seconds. So that's a concern of mine, because, I mean, sure, I mean, is it going to be any better or worse than a human can do? Who knows? Some will say, no, I can just change change it around a little bit myself. That's one of the concerns I have there, just lyrics alone. You're right. When it comes to engineering, things like mixing and mastering, I'm just wondering if those people are even going to have a job someday, because people just stick it into AI and just go, can you mix this for me? I'd like it mixed like a Taylor Swift song. I'd like it mastered like a Drake song. And, just do that for me. And then here's the song. And then it takes all your stems or your tracks, and it just puts them all together and says, here it is, mixed and master, or mixed and set like Taylor Swift, and now mastered like Drake. So to me, that's just like, okay, are we even going to need those people anymore? That's one question, because I've seen this in many places on AI, many programs that have AI generated mastering programs. Waves, I think, is one. Waves is a company that sells VSTs, which are called plugins. And that has one right now, I believe. So, and same thing, there's so many. Splice has one as well. That's where you can pick up samples and stuff like that from them. And I'm curious to know if that job is going out the door. Now, we can always argue that there's nothing like the human touch, and I agree if there is. That's true. However, I don't know if it's going to be helpful. That's what I'm wondering. Are we going to become the lazy man? Is what I'm wondering.
Yeah. In addition to what you just said, you see, artists use AI to streamline production right now, while preserving emotional authenticity.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So the whole gamut of the industry is now going to machines.
Mm-hmm.
Machines determining what we have to do. Remember, I came up with it's here. We should admit it. We had a discussion a couple of months ago, maybe over a year ago, to the fact that I said that when cars were being produced, when the idea of a car,
mm-hmm.
a mechanized kind of structure or something being moved, being given some machines, some engines to power them forward. Back at the time, they had horse-drawn buggies. It was, oh my God, oh, this will never come to fruition. Oh my God. You know, today we look at horse-drawn buggies as something that is something that you just go and then sit on it, and then one person is just doing it. Back in the day, whereas cars have taken the roads, and even among the cars, from diesel-driven cars, gas-driven cars, now we have electric cars. We don't know what is up there. So I think it's bleak for artists, especially like how we've been saying over the past year or so, that if you don't perform live.
Yeah, I looked this up too.
That's it. That's the end of the road for you. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, no, I have an argument to that, because I'm thinking way ahead of you here. I think that what we have to get used to, or what we know, and maybe, it's just comes of our age, and that is the world will always change. There's things will not stay still where they are. So there will always be movement. We say forward, sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse. However, I was thinking about performances, and I agree. And I actually looked this up, and there's no question that artists are making way, way more in live performances than they are in record sales. It's hands down. It's just not even a close comparison. So you're going to have those. However, let's just go a little further, and let's say that you have an artist. Say if you wanted to have a concert with whoever you wanted to see, say Celine Dion, just out of curiosity, because she can't perform right now, just using that as an example, and she's not able to make it, why don't you just have a 3D performance of hers in your living room?
It's scaring me.
yeah, just like there she is. It feels like she's right there, and you don't need anything on your eyes to cover your eyes, like you see those reality videos or stuff like that. And there she is doing the performance right there in your living room. So that to me is another thing. And is that going to take over? Are we going to start seeing more and more performances like that, where they're not really live, but they're the next best thing? It looks real, looks like the person's right there on stage. So is that going to be taking over where that group could make it? And is the group going to make any money from that? Group, musician, whoever you want to do. So that's where I wonder if we're going to be heading that way too.
Yeah, that's like I read something they call it immersion, and what they call it immersion entertainment, where it's like you just described it. But the thing is that from where we have been, maybe for the new generation, for the kids unborn, we're not going to get used to that. There's certain things that you expect Ron to be performing right in front of you. Ron is doing, on all of a sudden something. You have a hologram or something right there, the effigy of that person right there, just mimicking and all those kind of stuff. Is it what we are looking at? I think it looks so. It's going that route. So, man, it's quite concerning in terms of the industry. But we'll come to the big players who are controlling the big guys who are controlling the industry. But then let's look at with my notes here, streaming evolution. It says streaming platforms dominate revenue now, accounting for over 80% of global music income. Is it to the benefit of artists?
Isn't that the question? I would say that I'm gonna rebuttal that with another question by saying, what happens if there wasn't streaming? So would artists be any better off? What I'm hearing is there's an oversaturation in the market of music. There's never been so much music available to people. But what if there wasn't streaming? How would they be heard then? Would they be everybody trying to send songs out to the radio, or how would they be getting heard any other way? So I think, yes, it's almost a double-edged sword that way in terms of whether it's beneficial or not. I think it has its downs and it has its goods, because there are many artists, let's face it, that we would not have heard had there not been places like Spotify, YouTube, and the likes. So if we didn't, we'd be missing out on great music. However, are we getting too much of it? Is it oversaturated? That's the question I would think. And then I'm wondering, is it because music becomes so easy to record nowadays? As I've said many times, we have more technicians than musicians. And I think it's the musicians who will stick through and be able to make it through a process of being able to survive. It's the technicians that will not, because they're going to run out of ideas. They're not going to have they're not going to have the wisdom to be able to write songs consistently. It's like the best songs, like some of the best songs ever have been recorded by, and this could be argued, but are by the Beatles. Everything they did, I mean, they were recorded by real humans who recorded real songs in a real studio. That's what musicians do. Paul McCartney is a great musician. However, we're getting too many technicians, I think. But the thing is, would we not have these songs? That's the thing. Without a platform like social media of some sort, like Spotify, and as I've mentioned already, Apple, any of those, would we be missing out on great music? I think for the public, it's probably in their better interest. For the musicians, I don't know. That's the question. Because are they making more money? Not really. Are they getting heard? Perhaps. I don't know.
Yeah, you touch on something, saturation,
Mm-hmm.
right? Yeah. The saturational aspect of it is that, yes, it is. Yes, on one side, it has exposed us to artists who would not have been heard. Somebody like the young man that we had yesterday, last week as our guest, Master Blake,
Mm-hmm.
very good artist with that mindset, right? Wouldn't have been able to, go in there and say, okay, yeah, sure, it's not the weekend, he's not that. Let's bring him in, and share ideas. And he was, we had a very great conversation with him. Be praised and all the others, right? The question that arises right now is that the streaming platforms now dominate revenue. As I said, 80% global music income, 80%. Be it, within that 80%, who are we talking about? Are we talking about all those who have made it, who have crossed that threshold, or what? And what are we talking about? You also made mention of Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
Why? The big boys. Are musicians benefiting from that, apart from the fact that they are being discovered, or their music, their works are being dragged and then put out there by Spotify and the others? Are they benefiting, or what? Or are they selling directly? Say they dominate. Are they selling directly, like we used to go out there to perform and then you sell merchandise and all those kind of stuff? Who is benefiting from that, right? In one way or the other, yes, it has exposed us to new and untapped talents. But at the same time, are these talents being making to feel that they are worth that? So AI, on that score, it's a catch. We are in a catch 22 or 24 or 50 situation. Which way do we turn to? Is it okay or it's not okay? Is it beneficial or is it not beneficial? That's one thing that where we want to let's spend some time on that and see what.
Yeah, I think that it's what is your goal as a musician, I guess? Is it to be heard? Is it to make $1 million? Is it to be happy? What is it? I think that varies from person to person. And I think when you're looking at it, are you trying to make money on it? Because if you are, then I don't think you're going to do it on these social media areas. You can expose yourself, and the more you expose yourself, the better. And then maybe, as I was reading up on this, if you're looking to be signed by a label, most labels are not looking for new talent today. Let's get that straight. This is something that I was reading about this morning. And most major labels are not looking for talent. What they're looking for is people who have already gone out there as, say, indie artists and started to make a market for themselves and started to get a clientele of people who really want to see them. And then this is when the big labels will start to jump on board and start to think about signing you for a contract. But then you already have to be well established in terms of what you've done. So I think that today, most of us are all going to be in the same boat, saying that, yep, we're going to try and write our songs, try and get them out there. And if they are successful, then maybe, just maybe, that label will catch us, and maybe it'll be beneficial. The only thing, of course, as we've discussed many times, is labels. What they do is they keep your master. You may never see it again. They keep it for the rest of your life. So you're not allowed to have it. So that's a disadvantage. We've talked about this before. However, as an indie artist, you're not generally going to make as much as signed artists, huge artists. The Ed Sheerans are signed artists. Those people, the Charlie Puths, they're signed. because they proved that what they could do was worth investing money in, because they developed a clientele prior to just being signed. So I think in some ways that's a benefit to all artists, because then we're all in the same boat to start with. It's not like you're going to be performing one night on stage and then a major label is going to say, man, we got to meet tomorrow in the office, we're going to sign you. I'm sorry, that's not how it's going to work. And that's not what they're looking to do. So in some ways, we're all in the same boat. If I say musicians, because we're all just trying to get, if that's what we're trying to get, maybe you just want to write a good song and you just want to put it out there. So kudos to you. There's no right or wrongs to this. I guess it depends. If you're looking to make money and that's your sole goal, then I think you're in the music industry for the wrong reasons, as we've discussed many times too.
Yeah, artists. The artist Lizzo made a statement. I read it. I think a lot of people came up with a sense of, she got people thinking, Lizzo. What she was trying to imply was that we don't have any superstars anymore. Back in the day, we had summer hits and all those. We don't have them anymore. She was comparing the 80s and today.
Yeah.
In the 80s, every artist that came out became a superstar. All of them. Almost all of them. If you hit it, boom, with one track, hey, you'll be playing to audiences of, you'll be filling stadia, open stadia, and auditoriums. And there were so many of them.
Mm-hmm.
So many of them. But today, like she indicated, there is not a single star out there. There's not a single star out there that we can say, okay, yeah, this is summer special, and boom, and that was it. Today, artists are, the top-notch artists are releasing songs midnight, 12 o'clock, 12 midnight, and all this kind of stuff, trying to attract viewers and those kind of stuff. That kind of era is coming to an end where, everything was just right there in your face. But today, it's all AI-generated bots. We will come to that. And, it's more of that, if I can continue with that, algorithms are more personalized now. And they are pushing, from my notes, they are pushing macro genres and niche artists into the spotlight. There's some genres that you may not have heard. New things are coming up. And if you don't hit that SEO optimization kind of point, you are out in the loop. Algorithms will have to determine whether you make it or not. As opposed to yesteryear. If you were good, you were good.
Your point about Lizzo's comment there, I agree. We are not seeing what we used to see with huge artists coming out. Like you said, those of us who grew up in the 80s and the 90s and in the 70s and the 60s know that, we had superstars. They're huge people that came out. Look at the Rolling Stones. When they came out, they've lasted for over 40 years.
Yeah.
And I just don't see us having artists like that. Lizzo, we've heard about her. I think there was the 2023 Grammys she was on. I haven't heard much from her since then. Maybe it's taking her, years to record another album. Good, kudos to her, whatever that is. But she appeared and then she's now sort of disappeared. And I don't know about how some of the artists that were out there, like who is it? I'm thinking of Sam. Anyways, he was doing well. He was in the same Grammys and he won a lot of awards. And I thought, okay, but now he's nowhere. I'm just thinking, okay, where did they go? It seems like artists are coming and going every year. Last year it was, of course, in the 2020. Well, last year, of course, it was Beyonce. For the 2024s, awards, in 2025. And the year before was a lot about Taylor Swift and Miley Cyrus. So I just don't know if we're going to see artists stick around for any period of time like they used to. I mean, it seemed like every year or so they'd put out a new album. People were drooling at their, the lip for them to come out with these new albums, and they'd make, whether they were good or not, they'd buy them. I mean, look at Kiss. Kiss, I mean, to me wasn't, I mean, as a high school kid, I used to listen to Kiss, but I never listened to them anymore. That group was huge. They were massive. But yeah, I mean, it just, to me, it's just not, that's not happening anymore the same way. And it's interesting here, another little fact that I've learned is that for genres that are coming and going, ones that are still staying somewhere near the top are hip hop and pop. Ones that seem to be struggling a bit that haven't as much in the past are rock and jazz. So it's interesting, I think, because what I'm hearing in pop and hip hop is a lot of, as we know in the music industry, those of us who do any producing, -8 LUFS. Put everything at -8 LUFS and just crank out that bottom bass end and, and limit and compress the dickens out of the song. And you're going to have a song that's what's going to make it in that industry. Rock doesn't do that, and jazz certainly doesn't do that. I heard a recent album, the Doobie Brothers have a new album out that's come out. And yeah, I just thought I'd listen to it. Production-wise, it's nothing like I would say that you hear in pop music. Production-wise, it's the Doobie Brothers. It sounds great, but it's totally different. You put it in your stereo, it's like night and day listening to. I was listening to it yesterday, listening to Doobie Brothers and then a pop song, and I would think going, oh my, oh my, this is different production here. So it's interesting to see. I guess we're just getting used to this big bottom end booming, as I say, compressed and limited -8 LUFS settings to make them as loud as possible. But that's not what the Doobie Brothers did. And they were recording in a studio, I'm sure, instead of in their computer, because you can do that right from your computer, that compression, that limiting, and get it all sounding like that. So I don't know. It's where we're going. Rock is struggling, but stuff from that time of the 80s is still very popular on Spotify. But as I was listening to somebody across our yard who was painting a house across the street, I was thinking they were listening to all these songs that were from the 80s and stuff on a radio station. I was going, wake me up. Wake me up. I've heard this 10,000 times. How many more times can I hear it? That was one of my claims about that, just because it was like, okay, I've heard this song. Like, how many times do I need to hear this again? I played this song. And every once in a while, I played this song at least 1,000 times. Okay, I'm getting tired of them. Don't people get tired of listening to the same stuff? I do.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very interesting that you brought about Beyonce and Post Malone and the others.
Yeah, Post Malone. There's the name. Yeah, Circles.
That's right.
Yeah.
See, what I see is that AI one way or the other has influenced that fluidity in genres.
Mm-hmm.
See, if you take artists like Beyonce, making crossovers, crossing into unexpected genres.
Like country?
Yes, that reflects, right, a fearless approach to musical identity. So we are losing a lot if it doesn't work that way. Let me come out with something. Let me cross over and go and see whether it will stick, it will work. But then once they go, it's not about the fact that they're good. AI, bots, help promote them. Right? AI, promote it. So now we are coming out with so many different new genres. new genres. Some of them have stuck, others just came in and then boom. An artist who appeared here on this show about 3 or 4 years ago, if I can recall, he came out with a dancehall Afrobeat kind of. He called it something. When I listened to the music, so, this is beautiful. It didn't see the light of day. I never heard about it because if he did not continue with it, and he felt, okay, you know what? I've heard this from there and that. Okay, let me also go and taste that. It means that genre that he wanted to bring out is dead. Well, he himself didn't continue with it. So there's that. AI has opened up an area where he said, okay, you know what? I'm not a country musician. But let me go on my computer and see whether I can come up with something. And then, you know what? Boom, 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 boom. Oh, yeah. It sounds like that. Oh, mix it this way. Give me some strings here. Give me this, you know, acoustic here. Give me that. Give me this. Give me that. What do I call it? Iron country, blah, blah, blah. Come up with something, boom, and it sticks. And then the system picks it up and then boom, converts it. Constantly they do it because they have the wherewithal to do that. Algorithms pick it up and then it sticks. But then what are we listening to?
Yeah.
Is that human? Or is something behind it trying to create something that we don't know? So these are some of the areas. These are some areas that I think artists or musicians or producers or what have you, because the labels don't care. They don't give a damn. They don't care. So far as oh yeah, I can give you $2 million. Come up with something like this, then stuff like that. And we'll promote you, push you, because it is now coming. Sorry, it is now coming to light that not all the artists or the top-notch ones are getting the views and the followers that they've been made. Will be made to believe. They buy bots to follow them. Right? Oh, 300,000 views, 400,000, what have you. But how many of them are real human beings?
Yeah.
You've crossed over. Yeah, sure. You've come out with something. But is it what it is? I think, Ron, it's quite, there's the good and bad side of it.
Yeah.
But are we getting the authentic music or industry that we were used to? And what is the future? How does the future hold you? Your reflection on it.
Well, you know, I'll say that I didn't watch the 2025 Grammys just because I knew who was going to clean up on it. It was pretty obvious to me. It wasn't even, I mean, you didn't have to be a genius to predict it. But then I listened to that music and I was listening, you know, I've listened to it a number of times and I'm just thinking, this isn't country, man. To me, this isn't the typical country song. So our artists going to be now, in order to win Grammys, going to have to produce country music that sounds like that. And is that going to change that genre altogether? Another genre that is interesting that is, I've heard is, you know, like 7 years ahead of us is K-pop. K-pop is very, very digitally produced, and it has its sound. It's a different sound, but it's going to make a production different. And probably I wouldn't even be surprised now if we just have to, people like that are in those industries are just going to take it and, as you say, just stuff it into their computer and make it and look on their computer like we're doing right now, looking on our computers and just creating music and then saying, hey, can you just fix this all up, send it all out to the world. But is that going to be any more effective if everybody's doing it? I don't think so, because it's all going to be one big mix mash of artists trying to make it out there. And I mean, for labels, I guess they get so many different options. of people to pick from. But the question is, I would always be concerned about, if I was a label signing somebody, is what is their future going to be like? What are they going to be able to do this over and over? Are they going to be able to produce it over and over again? There's some artists like Ed Sheeran has proven that he can do it over and over and over again. He's really good at it. But Ed Sheeran, I mean, I've seen a number of videos recently of his, and he's just a one-man show on stage. I see he's got a synth that sits beside him, and he has a loop machine, a really good loop machine, and he loops all his things. He plays them. You can see him playing the parts into this synth, and then he's got the whole thing down to a one-man show. Now, maybe that's just part of his show, and the rest of the time he has other musicians who are joining him. I don't know. However, sure, he shows, he plays it, and he loops the same part over and over again. But then, and he's able to stop and start them. And I'm just kind of wondering, is this okay? And the people seem really cool on it because he's the guy singing it. I'm just curious to know if this is going to give people satisfaction doing that. I would be going, give us a band, please. Give us something other than just you and your synth and your loop machine. And he was playing guitar. Hey, man, he's a guitar player. He writes all this stuff. I had to take, that's nothing to take anything away from, other than to me, I would just go one-man show. You're making it good. I mean, for him, he sure gets paid. If he's only a one-man show, he sure gets paid a lot more now. He doesn't have to divide up part of his money to the groups and the people that are involved. It's a pretty easy show to put on. However, not for him necessarily, but for everybody else. However, is that where we're going? I don't know. To me, it looked like it was cool to see a performance of this song, but I've seen him do it on many songs where he's a one-person show. And I'm just kind of going, that just doesn't do much for me. I'd rather see the person playing the synth part, even if it's redundantly over and over again. I'd rather see a human playing it rather than a machine I know that's doing it. But he's selling out really well. I just wonder if music's headed that way. I don't know.
Yeah, it's sorry, it's a conversation that has got to be nailed down by artists, because you know what, I've been in this business for quite a while, and I know it's not the same. And somebody might say, well, the time that you were on tour doing all those kind of stuff, it's different. But at least the enjoyment was there. We had fun. I quite remember, touring, going to South America, to Guyana, and stuff like that. Now we don't have a lot of groups or artists, bands, what have you, touring anymore.
No,
they're not touring anymore. Now comes the area, because record labels and production companies don't want to pay a lot of money, as opposed to one artist going there to do the playback. We've done this before. So right now they can put all the machines together, and then one guy is doing a show. But I'm not used to that. Like, I quite remember some years back, God bless his soul, I went to the Toronto Maple Leaf Gardens to watch Luther Vandross. Man, I came out, said, yes, I paid this amount of money, and I learned something. It wasn't just that I was going to look at him. I was going to see who was behind him in terms of the musicians. I came out and said, damn, this is what I need to see. But today we don't see that.
No.
Because, like we said before, the producers are in the AI. I mean, they are the AI. They are doing all this kind of stuff. And they have put so many things in the production. This little bit. So on stage, how do you get all those things together to play, to get it right there? Today, you have things being put in there. When they are there, they are playing the drums, and you might think about 5 people are playing and all these kind of stuff. This has pushed the music to such an extent that sometimes you have to sit back and say, man, is that real? I, for one, this is TyB speaking as an artist.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see, or I would like to hear music with real bass. I don't like, keyboard bass,
Mm-hmm.
but as opposed to getting somebody real to play, because that's what I'm used to. But some people will say, well, man, if they do that, they are cutting down costs. But yeah, they are cutting down costs. But what about the guy who has taken about 10 years to learn how to play bass? 15 years to do that. Now, symphony orchestras are going out of fashion right now. You get these keyboards and boom, 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 boom. They go in there, go into the studio and do. So all that I'm trying to say is that the industry is changing. Is it for the good or for the bad? Or is it for the better or for the worse? This is what we have to sit down as artists to be, musing about, as opposed to just, oh, I've got this idea. Let me go to the studio and record and go on online and then do that. Yes, you do that. But at the same time, like we are beginning to understand that even big artists are buying bots to support that living, to support what they are doing, right? So where do we go from here? That is
yeah. Isn't that a good question, though? Where are we going from here? Because I see so many artists. I'll say as an example, I saw a duet a while ago, and when I heard them, I knew they were singing, and one of the guys was playing guitar, and the other person was playing keyboard sometimes, but the rest of the time it was all music behind them, and I wasn't really sure if it was really the music that they were playing, the instruments they were playing, guitar or stuff, whether they were really playing it or not. Because I thought he's got all these other drums behind him. There's no drummer on stage, so I'm not really sure if this is really an act or if it's not. And I even told someone the other day, I said, I think I'd rather see another act. I know that's not as popular, but at least they play everything. She'll sing and he'll play guitar, and okay, so I know everything, where everything comes from. But in this other duet, I just thought, this is just, everything was too perfect. That's the other thing, is too perfect. Humans aren't perfect. And where you see this, and I see this time and time again, is listening to songs and knowing that the beat never slows up or speeds up, slows down or speeds up. I'll try and say that right. And it's true, because so many times today we're using recording music that is just on a click track. It's just perfectly in time. Humans don't do that. Humans, if you ever hear them play live, you try and put a metronome to them, it just doesn't happen. Even the very best drummers in the world cannot keep perfect time. Thank goodness, because that's the human flavor of music. But we're getting away from that, especially in the pop industry. The rock industry, maybe not so much, but the rock industry is, as I mentioned earlier, is tending to head downwards. Same thing with jazz. Jazz, has real musicians in it, and it's tending to go downhill a bit. So hip hop and pop, they just use their whatever DAW, digital audio workstation they want, and they record in perfectly in time. So to me, it's taking that human flavor out, and I'm concerned about that, just because I know that where I live, there's a local pub, and it's really good. They hire musicians, and they're really musicians who play music, which is great. I can see there's a guitar player, there's a sax player there, there's a bass player, there's a keyboard player, there's a woman singing. Hey, great. I can see everything that's happening. But I think some people are getting so used to seeing things where there's other stuff in the background, and they don't even care where it's coming from. I'm guessing. I don't know. To me, if I hear drums, I want to see a drummer play them. That's my thought. I just want to see drums, man. Play the drum. And anybody who's looked at really good and watched really good drummers, say like Stuart Copeland, who is from the Police, monster drummer.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, he is incredible. Watch him play. He's just
it's a machine, human machine.
Yeah, exactly. And he plays so in the pocket. And the term "in the pocket" means that you're going with this to make it groove. You get that groove feel. And I think, you mentioned Malone there earlier. And I was listening to his Circles song, and it's perfectly in time. Perfectly in time. I know the bass part to it, it's monotonous. It's a 4-chord progression that goes over and over and over again, playing the same exact phrasings, other than dropping it down an octave every once in a while, the bass part. And to me, it's just too perfect. Too perfect. It's not a real drummer. It's a digital drum machine, and it just doesn't compare. I'm playing with a drummer recently. Man, the guy is just all over the place. He's so good. He'll change things up, and I'm just going, thank you, because I don't want to hear always sounding exactly the same. I've listened to so many recordings where I just hear that same hi-hat, and it's the same. It's the same monotonous thing. And I said, that's not a human. Does that not bother you folks that that's not a human? But maybe not. Too perfect. That's what I would say. Too perfect.
Yeah, too perfect. Yeah, because and again, in addition to that, like it's all with everything, my recordings, none of them has been computer. I always want real drummers, real what have you, to do, right? To do it. But yeah, you're right, and it's not the same thing. Like my son Kwame, when Kwame writes his beats and stuff like that. No, he was in that hip hop mindset. He has created some great music. I mean, beats for top hip hop artists like Soulja Boy, and what he created for him happens to be one of Soulja Boy's biggest hits. But I mean, we're talking about 2017. Now he's back at it again, and what I'm trying to tell him is that look, now we live in a different era. If you are creating, let me listen to it, and he is going to be one heck of an artist. Not joking. I mean, a producer, because he's listening. So sometimes I tell him, you know what, when you're creating, create it like, even if you're using that, a human being is playing it. Don't go there, just open hi-hats here, roll here, do this. The keyboard, the kick should be that way. This introduce different kinds of stuff that when you get onto the stage, you can play it. Have the same musicians playing it. Not you get on the stage and then just you're looking around and it's only one person. If I wanted one person, I would be listening to it, on TV, on cable network, or on my phone. But when I go out to play, to listen to music, or to attend a concert, I want to go and see who else is good. The concentration of the minds shouldn't be on the artist himself, because you're learning if you're an artist. And even if you are not an artist, sometimes you go out there. I had one percussionist, man, you can leave this guy on stage and he can entertain during a percussion break or something like that. Right? This is what I, for one, maybe somebody who so well, that was then, and this is now. And what I accept that. But then we don't know what is coming up. Looking at what we are seeing right now. You are asking me that, but do you know what the next 5 years is going to be? Whether you'll be able to play, whether you'll be able to do what? We do not know. And if you're living your life as a musician and you're like, you depend on that, then you have to pause and say, wow, what am I going to do within the next 5 to 10 years? Just like we had Be Praised there. That man gave a lot of people food for thought. Because he's a sax player. And he does that. He's used that as a career because he cannot fathom to see going to work for somebody if he has that craft to tell people that, okay, if I'm able to, I'm going to work for somebody for $2,000 per week. Why don't I establish myself? Use that God-given talent to make the same amount for myself. Maybe I may even make much more money for that week than what has been bestowed on us. And then, and I tend to agree with it. So my caution to artists, and if you're an artist out there, learn something. No, if you're an instrumental, do something so that in the event that we all will know at one point in time that this is a machine generated song. There's no doubt about it. We will know. Just like right now, we know that they're using some samples here. We know that. Right. We know that. But then if you're an artist within the next couple of years, what do you expect? Where are we going? And to buttress what I'm saying, we are not putting cold water, or I'm not putting cold water on the trend. But then if I look on the other side too, globalization of music has made collaborations. We're seeing new artists like K-pop, Japan, singing in English or collabing with different kind of artists across the globe and stuff like that. This is what we're looking for, right? So the music industry, like before, no. The music being played in China, no. The music being played in Japan, no. But now you can listen to music being sung in Japanese, or music being sung in Chinese, or music that it's all over. It's opened the world for us all to know that, okay, you know what? We are all one people. We all belong to one race, and that's the human race. Then we have to listen to each other. So on one side, the trend looks good. It matters. It looks good, but then we don't know what is behind that door out there. Ron?
Yeah, it's interesting when you talk about becoming a professional musician. The saying is that it takes approximately 10,000 hours of practice to master your instrument enough to become a pro. So, and that usually means that you're going to end up practicing your instrument about 10 years prior to being able to step on stage with a professional musician of some sort, or be a professional musician. I don't know if people want to put that much time into it, because it does take a lot of time, a lot of practice, learning your different, I don't want to get too much into theory, but your scales and learning your keys and learning your chord progressions and all of the kinds of things that come with theory in regard to what you're doing. And those are really essential. The best musicians in the world, in my opinion, are still those who understand that kind of thing. We had a while back, we had Jeff Berlin on here, and Jeff Berlin who's just an absolute master at his instrument, which is the bass guitar. He not only he can read music, but he plays all the time. And he's got to be probably 50, 60, at least 60 years old, I think Jeff is by now. Pardon me, Jeff, if you're younger. However, it's just that guy still practices all the time. He's just, he puts videos out all the time showing, he was showing a major scale that had emphasis on tritones. And if you know anything about music, you know that that's kind of a weird scale. Yes, it is. But he said, I'm trying to do it in every single key. So this guy is, he just doesn't give up on that. And he knows that this is where he wants to be, because in order to last out there and be, living for, in the industry, you've got to know your stuff. And if you're going to just go on and think that you're going to rely on these loops and samples and stuff like that forever, I'm sorry, you're going to run out of samples and loops to be using that are going to make you unique. However, as a musician, if you're a guitar player or a bass player or any kind of instrument singer that knows what he or she is doing, you're gonna have some options in the future. You're going to be able to continue walking onto that stage. And here's the thing I would give advice to people who are up and coming artists is to make sure that you know an instrument well enough so that you can always be playing it, like I've said here, and then to make sure that you're always getting on the stage. I sound redundant here, but it's making sure that you're playing I'd say as much as possible, performing much as possible, but always if you record something, I know this, sorry, it was a brain fart for a moment there, apologies. But when you record something, ask yourself one simple question: can I go on and play this on stage with people? Are we going to be able to walk on stage? That's my point. I've recorded this. We recorded this together as a group. Do we know what we played? Good, let's go out and perform the song now. Mm-hmm. Rather than having it just be a recording behind you. Mm-hmm. And you walk out there as a single artist, because I tell you, people are not going to be interested. You're going to lose your pizzazz or excitement after about one performance, because they're going to go, okay, give us something new. We want more than just one person to look at, please. Thank you. Don't you have musicians that are playing those parts? We want those too, please. Taylor Swift was really good at this. She had musicians all the time. She's had musicians. Some of her musicians have been around for over 20 years with her. So, and she walks out with players. I went and saw Madonna. Oh man, this is about, I don't know, I'd say a year and a half, maybe 2.5 years ago. And I was really disappointed. She walked out with mostly dancers, and there was no band playing behind. It was all canned music. I was like going, oh man, I paid a fair amount of money for these tickets. Why do you not at least give us the satisfaction of having a group join you? And she didn't. It was all canned music behind her. The odd time a guitar player would come out, or she'd play guitar, I think. But it just didn't do it. It was just like, wow. Yeah. Wow. There's my term, was wow, boring. Yeah. It was a boring show. And somebody else I know who's a real musician said, too, that is a terrible show. I said, no, you don't have to tell me. I went. You didn't.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, Ron. You're right. You see, it has become clear that we are heading into an unknown kind of era in terms of the music, in terms of the industry. Travis Scott had a concert that drew over, according to my notes here, 12 million viewers. And that really defined what a live show can be. See, you can do it and people can go online to watch. But the whole thing is that, well, the article doesn't say whether he appeared with a full band or he appeared alone. So I'm saying this to say that the question now that arises, that comes to mind is, are we to close music schools that teaches artists, instrumentalists? Because you spend so much so much money to go to learn how to play the guitar. I have a very good friend of mine. I have been performing with him. He's more than a brother right now. We've been performing for over 35 years. I don't do anything without him. He's good. He's creative. We combine. We can create music together. Mm-hmm. And now all that he does is that the gigs are not coming. So what he has resorted himself to do is to be doing studio. Studios call him to go and do
work. Yeah.
Oh yes, he can just come bam 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 bam, and he will really find the music. And he will always tell him, look, so when you go on stage, the first thing that he will ask, are you going to have a band? And he's really, really, he will never give up that argument. He believes in performing live. Mm-hmm. You can take that away from him. But the trend is that, like you and I have predicted, that the future belongs to those who are able to go out there to perform live.
Yes.
If you can't go out to perform their live for people to authenticate you, to let you know, oh, after all, yeah, you did it. You played it. Mm-hmm. Because other than that, there's going to come a time where when that music is being played, we know that, hey, man, it's the machine that played it. Mm-hmm. You didn't have anything to do with it. Yes. The machine even created your voice. That is where we are heading to. Because somebody can clone your voice somewhere right now, as it is, come out with something there and it's your voice. Now, is it your voice or is it not your voice?
Mm-hmm.
So now we have to look at the legality of the usage of these things. But the industry is fighting back because they don't want to be caught unawares that, hey, this is what it is. No, that's not you, and stuff like that. So, see, this is where we as artists will have to come out and say, redefine the laws so that what belongs to me belongs to me. Now, I think I sent you a couple of things that's going on. One, the standout was where Spotify is now going to take over your music.
Yeah, I remember this.
That's right. Take over. You would not have the rights to it.
Yeah.
And they will come out with good entertainment lawyers who may go to Congress and may do whatever they have to do to write things to favor them, because we are seeing that.
Mm-hmm.
They are merging. If you're an artist, you sign a deal, you sign a contract, you sign an agreement, or you sign with a label, and you go out there to perform. One, if they say you're going to perform at the Vancouver Sports Arena or whatever it is, or Toronto Maple or Rogers Center, you are paying for your own arena.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about you, because they've worked it in such a way that everything that you taking, you are paying for that, but you don't know. Gone are those days where they would teach you contractual agreements between artists and and labels. Do they do it now? Even back then, do they do it? No. Everybody was just going out there to perform and not knowing what they were signing to or what they were getting themselves into. It got to a point some of the artists even don't own their own names.
Mm-hmm.
So where we are right now, we don't know where we're getting in, what we are getting into, and knowing what we know and what we knew then. I think artists will have to sit back and sit up and ponder and see, and then ask themselves, what next?
Mm-hmm.
What next? And that is something that I would like to put out there, that the trend that we are looking at right now is not as rosy as people would like us to believe. Those who have made music, I mean, the career, and they've made money, they'll continue to make money. Royalties and appearances and all those they'll continue to do that. But the upstarts, those who are upstarted, those who are starting up, are the people that I'm thinking about. Would they have an industry to belong to? Would they have an industry where they can go out there and to make money, as opposed to the saturated airwaves and the saturated industry where every day over 1 million tracks are put out there? Which one do I choose?
Yeah.
Which is the one that they all sound alike?
Mm-hmm.
I don't put Afrobeats down. If you take the early 20s, the 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, the type of Afrobeat that came out, it's not the same thing right now. They were superb. But today, you listen to one, you've listened to the whole thing. It's like they all go to one place and say, I like that, and then you listen to that. Sometimes you get confused as to who's singing it, or who is even doing it. That is where we are right now. So how does the future hold for us as artists? We have to sit down and think about where we are, the future. Are we going to have a future where we'll enjoy it as we used to enjoy it before? And like we've to end it, we spoke about festivals, where you went there to make fun, make money, and all those kind of stuff. Are festivals going to exist? Because now governments are not funding them. So where do we go from now? I don't know, Ron. Sometimes when I think about it,
I'd say I'm glad I'm getting older, not younger, or I'm not young trying to do this. I think that if you go into the industry hoping to make a lot of money from it, don't hold your breath on that. But, all kudos to you for trying. Put out the good songs and, get people interested in you. And just keep writing good music. We will always appreciate good writers, good songs. We want that from you, and I hope that we don't get to a stage where it becomes too simple to do, because I think anything that is worth rewarding requires hard work.
Yeah. Say that again, Ron. I like that.
Anything that you earn money for, or you are rewarded for, takes hard work, and nothing is going to be simple. And it's the same in every industry on this planet. In order to be really good at it, it takes a lot of hard work, and you have to be able to do that. If you're expecting it to be an easy street, or you're expecting just to drop samples into place and it all to come together, I'm sorry, it's just not going to be. You're not going to have the rewards as much. I just truly believe the hard workers will always come through on top. That's my positive thought to it.
That's right. And on that note, folks, that's a good thought, positive thought from Ron. And I think there's a lot more that we can say about it. But you know what? Time is not on our side. And we've over the past year or so, we've been talking about this because I think it's something relevant for artists to sit back and sit down, because the industry leaders, the labels and stuff, they don't. They are expecting you to make the music work, and then you bring it to them for them to promote you. But then the other side of it is that social media is also helping you as an artist. But then there's a lot kilometers ahead of us where we don't even know. We don't know where we're heading to. Only God knows where we're heading to in this industry. So on that note, folks, we'd like your opinions about that. You may go revisit this session. We'll come back again next week, Saturday, pronto at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Petraa will be with us because, hey, today Petraa had to attend to some, birthday party that she had to. So she will join us again next week, where we have a guest with us having a conversation as we've always been doing. Thank you for your time. Thank you very much for accepting us into your homes, in your cars, in your cottages, wherever you may be. We'll see you again in 7 days. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Take care.